Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this one night.
Hello, everyone. Did we all do it at the same time? We did it at the same time.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
Worst.
to the Failed Save After Party.
Hello, everyone.
I am Joey. I'm Joey. I'm your moderator for tonight.
Joey.
I'm Joey.
Joey.
I think it's very clear that I'm Joey. Very clear.
Yes, hi. I'm Vince Casso. I
You're
am the
not
DM
in charge
of Failed
anymore.
Save, and I'm still running this the tonight, sir.
This the tonight. Are you?
This the tonight.
This are you? The tonight.
Oh, I've had like 8 hours of sleep over the course of 2 days.
That's actually a good name for a talk show.
This the tonight.
This the tonight.
Yeah.
I like it.
I actually
like it very much also.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty-
so for those of you at home who, for some reason, this is the first episode of this show you're watching,
You fucked up.
how about we quickly go around the table, introduce ourselves, and we'll just we'll start talking about the show.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Hi, I'm Sage Ryan, and usually I play Dazzle, the fallen Azamar Warlock. But tonight, I'm not playing shit. Bless you, Joey.
I'm not playing these games with you tonight.
Joey. Yeah, that's it. So we're just hanging out tonight, and I still can't fly. I can't fly on normal nights, and I can't fly tonight. The fuck is up with that?
That's fair.
All right, let's go to Kate.
Who's next?
It's
To
me.
Joey.
Hi, I am Joey, also known as Kaylee, and sometimes I play a southern turtle named Ella. Yeah, that's me. I can't fly either, but my baked goods may or may not kill you.
And I'm Xander Genre, and normally I play Bora, the Furbolg Paladin, but tonight I'm sticking to he/him pronouns. That's it, and I can fly. Figure it out.
Both forgot this time,
Well,
Sage.
no, see, I didn't do it because we do it for character's sake usually. So that's why I didn't do it.
Right.
But yes.
I am not wrong.
I thought we were all gonna.
It's chill. We're chill.
Very chill. Hey,
Chill,
I'm
breezy.
What are
Anthony. It's
chill?
very chill.
That's it.
Nice,
That's
that was
it.
good. That was chill.
Thanks, Joey.
Perfect. All right. I'm Gina DeVivo, and I play your Tiefling Paladin, Murray, or the famous Asmoridian.
jury's
And
still out.
also, I'm tonight Joey.
Right.
Aren't we all?
Tonight
Joey
we're all
is-
playing Joey.
So yeah, well, all of you, thank you for joining us. We're kind of having just a loosey-goosey, breezy, chill, kind of fun chat tonight about the season, about the show, about what might be coming in the future. A couple fun little tidbits later on as well. But for now, let's talk failed save. I think.
Man.
Also, if you're watching at home and you want to play along, I've got Cookie Clicker up in a window. I'm 9 days into a new run of
Don't.
Cookie Clicker.
Don't
even know what
Anthony,
that
don't
is. I
encourage
don't know
that.
what
That's
that
really
is.
problematic. If
What
you can't tell, we've all got a case of the giggles. I think I have a theory on why we're so problematic today.
The world is burning.
Hey, the world is burning. There's all of that. But also, usually before we go live on the show, we have this like whole process that we have to get through where we're like syncing our audio and we're doing all of the like green screening. And we didn't do anything. So we just had 30 minutes to like actually enjoy each other's company, which is so rare in 2020 to get to do with anyone. We all
miss
just have to
other
hang
people.
out.
Yeah.
We're also apparently like we're not quite complete without our TD.
Yeah,
evidently.
We're not. We're
That's a
not.
line.
That's the adult.
He never would have let us all be named Joey.
100% the adult. Yeah, no, he would not have let us.
Oh yeah,
No,
should
we
we?
would have stopped that. Also, hey,
we change
thanks
it?
for the hype train, everybody.
Oh, hey.
Y'all
Oh,
are
thank you.
amazing. Let's go through really quick. Ray, Tharpy, Akodoroku, Blake Hart, Rababa, Alonzo. I don't think I said that already. Roguish Cleric, Not Always Weak. Thank you all so much for those subs. Ray, thank you for gifting that sub to Ann Blue. D-Man, y'all are wild. So thank you all for those subs and for supporting the channel. You're the reason that we were able to do a whole season.
Y'all are wild.
Speaking of that crazy wild season of failed save, what's some of all y'all's favorite memories, favorite moments from the season that stand out to you? And there's no like order to this. People just chime in whenever you want.
Wait, but we didn't get a recap, Vince. How are we supposed to know what happened?
Oh,
Right, yeah,
my
go
God.
ahead.
You know what? I'll be honest. I woke up this morning and I thought, could I cram the entire season into one recap
Can you?
and decide I'd be
Oh.
talking for most of the hour?
Do you know what's a fun improv game? Is you try to fit it all into 5 minutes, and then you start all over again. You try to fit it into 2 minutes, and then you start all over. You try to fit it into a
And
minute.
that's the stream
Nightmare.
tonight, everybody. If you could summarize the season, Vince, in
Oh,
a
boy.
minute for us while
A
we think
minute?
of our answers. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
pitch
a
us.
1 minute summary.
Pitch us on
minute's way
failed
too
Give
long.
save.
us an elevator pitch of failed save season 1.
I'm smoking a cigar. I've got all this Quibi money to give away. Pitch me failed save.
If I were to sum up failed
I'm
save,
Stephen Quibi.
Stephen
I'm sorry for your
Quibi.
loss.
My tagline for failed safe has always been "Cats Unherded," because that's really how this show goes. Honestly, the story of this season of this show has become such just a mishmash of bullshit that I wouldn't even know where to start. I'll be frank, like I started out with a really structured, here's how the plot's gonna go kind of narrative broken down, and we stuck to a good chunk of it. We did. But at several key junctures throughout the season, it was like, we have to throw the entire second half of this away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do this earlier, and this person might just die. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, truly.
I think one of the things that stands out for me too is when Mika was guesting, she said it best of I missed fun D&D, and I think that's what really changed the perspective on this. It's one of my favorite things about D&D as well, is when you take these irreverent comical concepts, go along with yes and fundamentally say yes, this is true. Let's explore a world where that is true. Let's explore this NPC of Guy and what the thing that it's Anthony does it better than anyone, and it's to annoy you, Vince, mostly, but also it's a great improv tool of okay, let's say these things are true and see what happens given that these outstanding rules are true. And I think that's really freeing in a fun way.
Totally agreed.
True.
I think that my favorite so far might have been our little animal adventure. I really enjoyed our little animal adventure.
The animal arc was a lot of fun.
It was a damn good time. I had a lot of fun being a possum. I had a lot of fun watching all of you be little critters.
What did you learn about yourself being a possum?
That this is the only thing that my voice was ever destined for, truly. I fully understood why when people say I sound like a rodent, where they were coming from.
Oh.
I get it. My laugh, it sounds like a
Sure.
rodent, if we're all
Sure,
honest
sure.
here.
Squeaky, I get
I
it.
gotta put it to you.
Do you get rodent often?
I-
Specifically rodent?
Yeah.
Not mouse,
I
not
get
rat,
mouse
just
as well,
rodent.
but sometimes just rodent. Yeah.
Do you know Pizza Rat?
Not on a first name basis. I would still call him Pizza Rat, but we definitely have mutual friends.
Is
Or
Pizza Rat a
Ratatouille.
hyphenate, do you think?
Oh no, it's a first and last name. You
Oh,
could
okay.
say
First
Mr.
name Pizza,
Rat.
last name Rat.
Yes.
Jean-Michel Pizza Rat?
Yeah. Yeah. Sir Pizza Rat, if you know, at this point, we all know what
Right.
Pizza Rat's
Right,
arc has
yeah.
been like for the last few years. So a lot's happened.
How about anybody else? Any moments that stood out to you? Some fond memories from the season?
Yeah, did anyone else like the show?
The show's fine.
fine.
I thought this was a notes session, and I thought we were here to give notes on.
Yeah,
We
please.
have some notes for you,
Do a
Anthony.
compliment
Actually,
sandwich,
As the
Chopping
only-
the show right now.
As the only person that ever genuinely has a notebook, I was genuinely afraid that Xander had notes for me.
I do.
Because he does. He's the only person. That's the other thing about this show is I didn't take a single note.
No.
And it's obvious, and sometimes it was very annoying to Vince, and sometimes it was detrimental to Chirp as a character. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I gotta be honest, I was sweating during the one episode where we did not have Xander here. Yeah. And I'm like, they need to know things for this episode.
Oh, do you remember the first thing I did is I'm gonna text him on my Stone of Far speech.
Yeah.
Stone phone, and
Everyone's
that's
like,
how
it's her.
That's where
Stone
Stone
Phone
Phone came
started.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Anthony doesn't take notes.
I took notes exactly one time, and they're on the Patreon because they were so fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
that
I
posted them.
I should send my notes to you because my notes are about as
Please.
bad.
Please.
Because I there's a moment where all of my notes stopped because you mentioned Kifo, and I got so angry as a player that I just stopped taking.
Now I
notes.
have to say, 50% of us are in this home campaign, and 50% of us are not. And sometimes something comes up, like Vince will bring something up, and he'll do this, and it just falls flat for me and Xander and Gina. And we're like, yeah, great. It's a guy named Kifo. Tell him I'm gonna fucking slap his face and steal his wallet.
I do my
And then,
best
like-
not to react.
And then like
Oh,
Kaylee will be like,
Haley's like, goodbye.
"What,
And then I'm
Kifo?"
just like goodbye, and then I start texting Ash.
Personally, like the face that I make on camera is always me noticing Kaylee's reaction. Like that is what I live for. Is I say it and I'm like, what's Kaylee doing right now?
but that I think is part of the reason why for me it's so fun to like poke at stuff, is because this like, so y'all don't know, but we have heard as friends and players, we have heard about how serious and how intense this home game actually is, and how long the home game's been going. And knowing that this is a very serious world for Vince, especially because he created it, there's nothing I love more than to be like, yeah, but the potions come out of a Slurpee machine, right?
Yeah.
And
There's
then he has
nothing
to
I
say
like.
yes.
To be fair, I proposed the Coke freestyle machine myself.
That's true.
That was written
That's
into
true.
the notes.
Amazing.
Well, that's also because for me, like there's the way that I described it when we were like even developing the show initially as well, is because yes, technically the campaign setting that is Boros and the 3 modules that I'm writing in that world and the 5 one-shots that I have in that world are all very like various levels of dramatic. This is like a dark, gritty world. The home game is rough. Like it's very intense. And so we talked about this show and we wanted it to be more comedic and light. And so while this is everything that happens in the show is canon in the world, but it's like this heightened reality meta narrative where the way that always like in my head canon I picture this is the story of the Derizian uprising. This is the story of the fall of the Kazirk Empire.
I'd like to take a minute.
But like this is the story as if it's being related by Philemon after the fact. Like this is how Tumnus would tell the story.
Yeah, Thomas, canon.
Self-identifying.
I like to
we
think of
win.
it as like when Spider-Man shows up in a Wolverine comic. You know what I mean? And like Spider-Man's not supposed to be there. Like it's really ridiculous when you see Spider-Man there and Wolverine's like, I've been alive for 500 years and I watched all my friends die in front of me and my bones hurt. My bones hurt. I've been through so much. And Spider-Man's like, your mask looks like a dumb face. And you're just like, this should not happen.
Yeah.
This should not be.
I would like to read a couple of really lovely and validating and complimentary messages from chat. Only those. We're only going to be taking those. No actual
Great.
questions, only compliments this evening.
Oh, okay, I did think
Only
this was
glowing
a note
praise.
session.
Yeah,
Open
yeah.
note session.
Yeah. But only open notes that are telling us what we're doing like really right.
Great.
So Anne Blue said, I love how y'all can be absolutely ridiculous and then break my heart and then go back to the insanity without blinking. Very, very lovely. Not always weak. Thank you. Also said, I love Failed Save because we do have this absolutely wild comedy, but then there are the deepest, most beautiful emotional moments. I've laughed so hard I've cried. I've cried so hard I cried. And also said it was their favorite D&D show. So I just felt like that should be acknowledged. I'm very proud of it.
I've always thought there's this thing in comics, especially like in comics, they call it pulling a Cerebus, which like Cerebus was this story about this barbarian aardvark, and it's like a ripoff of Conan, but like 100 issues in, it starts getting really serious. And like all of a sudden it becomes very political and very heart wrenching and very, you know what I mean? And they do it in anime a lot too, where it
One
starts
Punch
off,
Man.
it starts off very light and very hilarious, and then by the end it's like, we have to kill God to bring back your sister, and it's like, what? So I love being able to do that, and I like that we kind of give each other the room to do that, you know.
Well, speaking of what makes this show so dynamic and fun, I also want to talk about the guests a little bit because really, I think the fact that we've brought in such diverse and eclectic talent into the show to complement the cast of characters we have and the amazing things they brought to the table were very, very exciting. Let's just start with the first person we ever had, which was Whitney. Hilga, the
Reveal.
ham strangler.
The reveal none of us had seen.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, she kept it on the very, very quiet. She taped paper over her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not only was it a reveal for y'all because she was coming in a little bit later in the session, she didn't want any of us to see the look she had put together for it.
That
So she
fucking
literally
Ultimate
kept
Warrior
taking over
look
it.
that she
It
did
was
was
so
so
good.
good.
It was
And
so
I feel
good.
like, did Ham Strangler, did she just come up with that on the fly? She
I
must
bet
have, right?
she did.
I think she
I
had
don't know,
Helga,
Vince-
and then she was like trying to come up with the wrestling name.
I think she had the full thing. This is what she does. Like I've
She
named-
sent me the
I've
full
named
character
them
sheet.
So many, yeah. She makes these characters where you're like, you just made that up just now, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, she puts so much thought into her ridiculously incredible characters.
That is such a
It-
good.
It's a gift.
It is. It's
Which-
a very good gift to be able to write something that seems funny and
Off the cuff,
spontaneous
yeah.
and off the
Which,
cuff.
by the way, it's
By far.
thanks to Whitney that we got Guy.
That's true.
Because
Oh, right.
her ad lib about the blood of the guy being one of her ingredients.
Yeah,
is how
and then
the
we
guy
met the
character
person, and
started.
everyone was like, "Is that the guy?"
And
Or is your name
thick
Guy?
water. And thick water.
Thick
water.
He's also the reason for thick.
Juicing, I think.
Yeah,
And
juicing.
Juicing
Yeah,
started
juicing.
dusting all that weird
Yeah.
crap that we did.
Yeah, that was our first guest, and I gotta say, we started pretty strong.
Yeah.
That was also
My-
the episode where personally I began to commit more because the very first episode in this whole series was written in although there were lots of funnies on my part as well, a lot of sort of narrative baked in funnies. You know what? Chirp. It was written with the intent of being a little bit more realistic, but with very silly characters. That episode was the first that I was like, you know what? What if we just commit to this bit? And I wrote her that wrestling bit at the very end of the episode with the golem. And that was so much fun. Like, that ended up being such a great moment for everybody. I think, was it Murray who caught the head?
Yeah, I got a
that thing?
souvenir. She signed it for me, and then it got stuck to the Omni horse, so I guess it's gone forever.
Oh.
Ever. I like that Bora still wears her like children's
sticker.
The
her
sticker.
children's sticker of a
Champion
championship
belt.
belt.
That was fantastic.
That was so lovely.
Yeah.
We've had so many good guests. B Dave was absolutely
God.
phenomenal.
B-Dave
fun.
as a Werner Hertzog.
Yes.
Was the
Werner
joke that we made.
So good.
That was
Oh my
so
gosh.
good.
Leading Noodle to existential crisis.
Yeah.
Leading
and
us
now
all
B-Dave.
personally to existential crisis.
Yeah.
Now,
My biggest heartbreak is that Werner Hertzog and Chirp can't have a conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can cast like a
Yeah.
modified speak with animals. We'll do
Yeah.
like a wild.
I
sheep
think they have a
face
lot to
experiment.
talk. They have a lot to say about capitalism and the proletariat and things like that. I think they have a lot. I think they have a lot in common.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all.
On the point, by the way, though, of like guests who kind of come up with what they're doing in the moment, B-Dave told us that voice and like that characterization, he didn't really know what he was going to do until he started talking, and he just made
Yeah.
a choice.
Wasn't that most of us?
I mean, that was
I know
definitely me with the hedgehog. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
before we went live, we all kind of went, does anyone know what they're doing?
We're doing
Yeah.
No. Okay,
No.
I guess we're going to find out when we open our mouths.
I
Another-
think I had known that Rodney was going to be really like. I wanted Rodney to
Nerdy.
sound like a really nerdy, pathetic kid.
I love how
I knew-
Sandra
I
like,
knew that.
describes
Just
the
like
sound by doing
sinus
this.
issues.
The moment I heard the way you spoke was when I decided, all right, this is what Noodle's going to sound like then.
Because I was just like, he's like the weakest little thing in the world, and he keeps trying, like somebody keeps trying to pass him off as a dragon, and so he just fucking believes it. Like, why wouldn't he believe it?
Yeah.
And now he has a flying speed.
An-
He has a
So
Another
flying speed and a
guess.
breath weapon.
The power of belief.
There it is. Another guest that
Um,
did that was Chelsea Bites because
Yes.
she was like, when y'all started, you were so committed and I hadn't planned on doing a voice. So I was like, I guess we're going Valley Girl. And she just did it.
It was so
Yeah,
funny.
well,
Didn't tell us
she had
until
said that
after.
she took like a she had said that she had took like a 180 too.
Uh-huh.
'Cause
Yeah.
she was like, oh, it's dumb, and we're like, yeah, it's
Oh,
dumb.
it's dumb.
But then I think we started, and the recap and us getting into it was a little bit serious because like a town had just been decimated,
Yeah.
and like
Intense.
Right.
we were going into this stuff, and she was like, "Are you sure it's a dumb show?"
And then we really started talking, and she's like,
Right.
"Oh."
Yeah. Then we spoke, and she
Yeah.
won't give me a second.
And leaning into the concept, because there was a fun thing that happened with the guests this season. We had a fun balance of people who just got thrown into the mix and were there really to add even more levity and comedy and just banter because that's who they were, and others who approached me and said, okay, great, well, what can I know? What can you give me so I serve like an extremely important facet of the story? Like, what can I do to advance the narrative in this episode? And two examples of that would be Abria and Rachel Seeley as well.
Yes.
Who they both were so intimately woven into the episodes and the stories they were telling that even though they were still very comedic, very, very improv and bantery characters, they also had that certain sort of profoundness to them that I really enjoyed.
I think we get really lucky with that too, with Abria and with Rachel, in that we got other DMs to come and guest, and so they understand sort
Yeah.
of where this is coming from, and that leads a certain perspective for when you come in for these things, I think.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I also I have a certain fondness for Finch as
Yeah.
well. It's just such
Yes!
an adorable little character.
I want Rachel Seeley to steal every bit of bread everywhere in every county.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. It's just you just want to follow around and be like, here.
Yeah.
There was a moment where Ella was gonna just do that.
Right.
Like, here,
Goodbye.
let's just
I'm.
make sure it's the right. Yeah, let's just make sure.
Oh my God, though, you
just
could have accidentally
probably
killed
right.
Finch.
Oh no.
Accidentally, I only ever kill people on purpose.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, totally fair. You could have killed Finch.
And then we developed like this sort of implied backstory where Finch had apparently robbed the gnomes blind of all their bread.
Yeah.
How about that?
Where she's just like her coat, like she says she comes out and her coat is like this big.
Also from that episode, the number one thing that made no fucking sense to everybody was we've been doing a thing on the Patreon for the last few
the pizza bit.
episodes. We just kind of do them sporadically where I let everyone from Patreon decide one thing that a character has to do during the episode. We'll give them 3 options and they get to vote. And that time, one of the options was Ella goes full Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and has to try and find pizza. That was her activity. That was her quest. Is she has to try and find pizza.
I had no clue
I had no
what
idea.
the fuck
I
was
know,
going
that was
on.
the idea.
You remember, I was confused to the point of being almost upset.
Yeah. Why is this happening?
Is this a character thing? Is this
I
a
was like, what is this
Still
bit? Why is this bit?
She doesn't usually start the bits. Kaylee doesn't do that. So like when for pizza.
And I really
Like-
thought they would just let you like let it go, and everyone was like, "No, why is this happening?"
No,
And I'm
we
like,
grilled her.
Yeah.
Like, Kaylee,
What are you
why are you
doing?
doing this
No.
to us?
I
Explain
don't
yourself.
listen, and I don't normally.
So sorry.
It was beautiful.
I mean, we rolled with it, but one of my favorite parts of that bit was the fact that out of character, we were all questioning it so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops.
Why?
And at no point when we do the Patreon polls does the whole cast know about it. Usually only I and the
Yeah,
person,
no.
because I run the Patreon, only I and the person who is executing that task usually know about it, because I think it's fun to get everyone's natural reaction, and they're usually small enough tasks that they blend in.
That was natural.
And that is the only one that did not blend in.
But I mean, sometimes
in.
sometimes it works like incredibly well though, because wasn't the episode where Chirp gets drunk? Didn't Xander have to lift
Yeah.
somebody and
Piggyback.
give him
Yeah.
a piggyback?
Xander had to give
Oh, yeah,
someone a
I-
piggyback.
I didn't even notice that was a thing. Like, that
Yeah.
just seemed
that
so
was totally
normal.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
And that's the thing-
I had to give the Bane speech in one of mine.
Oh
Which
yeah.
my internet cut out the moment you started.
Right,
so-
Yeah.
yeah, we none of
The
us.
best thing was that you had to do the Bane speech like 3 times because of internet connections, and nobody understood what was going on. You're just like, I was born, and we're like, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I was born in the no.
Oh, that was the
So
worst.
some smoother
And also-
than others.
Right.
One guest who really surprised me, because she literally everything we're talking about like the comedy, the serious, the story, the banter. There was one guest who literally did all of that in like these different personalities of the same character, and that was Mika.
I missed
so
it.
Who
good.
literally had that character switch midway through the episode, going from like super serious, stern, story forward to then
Change
just like the
seasons.
Valley Girl. Yeah, just
Yeah.
What was her
winging
name?
it.
Some Venti. What?
Oh,
Ariana
Got
Venti.
it.
Oh, that's it.
That
Ariana
was her.
Venti.
Well,
That was her.
like,
That was
fake
her
royal name.
aristocratic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
am.
my god.
Ah.
Can we have her back, please, so that I can play with this character? Because I'm so jealous of all of you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And I think she was also technically, was that episode the genesis of the Omni Horse? It was, wasn't it?
It must have
Yes,
been.
it
so.
was.
Yeah.
Because I missed that.
Oh,
That's true.
tragic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think we did a bit about how Ella had rejoined the group, and that the three horses in some way became
And-
one.
Yeah.
And then Mika log rode the Omni Horse into the sunset.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we stick the horse together
Right, 'cause we had
previously?
Sticky.
That's true at the
'Cause
ruins.
Sticky at
They
the
all
ruins.
stuck together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of them was
I love
Sticky.
Sticky.
Y'all are
So-
wild.
And
Ella
then-
just got to ride Omni Horse to meet us because she couldn't
Yeah.
fit in the boat.
So
Yeah.
Sticky,
Reason.
Sticky the horse, by the way, little trivia point, is from the home game. That was
Yeah.
that reference.
And Sticky is my my
Oh.
barbarian's horse.
Mhm.
Is it also
Yeah.
actually sticky?
Yes.
very sticky and
Oh, it's
flammable.
super sticky.
Very
Super
flammable.
Flammable.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And then you had the audacity to kill our horses. So that was fascinating, Vince.
Yeah.
And you know what? They came back as ghosts, and
We
they
did have to get to have the ghost.
We
It's
did.
true.
It came
We got
back
to
as
have the
ghosts thanks to a chat donation.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
sure you get to take credit for that.
Yeah, you get no credit for that whatsoever.
It was
I
all
think
me.
Mika's character's name was Liar. the
Liar,
Eldritch
that's right.
Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right.
That's
Because the
right.
whole
That's-
first
I have
portion
my
of the
notes.
episode, they were like, well, how do you expect us to trust you? Your name is Liar.
Yeah.
That was also the episode that introduced Fractal Lichen.
Yeah.
Wow, I love how
Jesus
useful your
Christ.
notes are.
Wait,
What is?
really?
Hey,
I
man.
thought Fractal
Like
Lichen
it.
was the Whitney episode.
Or
Hey-
at least I wrote it down in this one again.
It's true.
Oh.
It came in at the end
It
of
came
the
in
Whitney
for
episode.
Whitney episode.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
Hey,
when we harvested
Vince?
it. Yes, Anthony.
What's the
Sorry,
fucking
Joey.
what's the fucking deal with fractal lichen, my guy?
Yeah.
It was
I'm
an
not telling you
accident.
shit, my guy.
Oh.
Oh.
It's no Fractal Lichen. So I came up with that for the sake of that episode.
Mhm.
But as with, and I'm sure you all watching at home, and especially you who are in the home game, realize I just compulsively, almost neurotically, have to interconnect like everything. So pretty much everything that I introduce in the show, the campaign, the world, is almost never without cause. It always connects to other shit in the backstory, the history, the future, the potential, this, that, what have you. Fractal Lichen has a role to play, as does every little weird thing that I came up with, but I just like saying it funny, really.
Yeah.
Right.
It sounds like something I would pick up in Destiny 2. Like I'd have to get
Right.
like 100 fractal lichens.
Yeah.
To get this armor or whatever.
Yeah.
You like that style that you have though. It like trips me up. Like tripped me up in the finale when you at whatever I crushed the orb and you
Yeah.
said you have to submit to. I had a moment of like, oh my god. You're bringing in a character from the home game that I know who it is again, and I'm gonna have to switch gods. And I thought it was about to be like much more complicated than it was. You're like, no, you just have to die. And I was like,
Oh,
Okay,
Okay.
I
you gotta
guess.
die. That's fine.
that's fine.
I also want to point out the paradox that just happened when Joey entered the room.
Right.
We
Because
are
that one
all
moment,
Joey.
none of us were Joey.
Right. Joey.
He doesn't know because normally it's a way shorter frame, so the
Yeah.
door is safe. So he just came in to be like, "Hi, I love you." I was like,
Aw.
I was like, "You don't even know you're on camera, right?"
And he doesn't even know
Joe's
that we're
the
all
real
him. He also doesn't know the fuckery that's occurred on this stream.
I don't think
No.
so.
And we're
At
all
this point, though, it's just
impersonating
safe
him.
to assume
Mini
that
marker-
there is fuckery.
Mini Marker in chat wants to know if the lightsaber has a role to play, and I'm not. Vince doesn't have to answer this one. I will tell you, the lightsaber has a role to play. I
Okay,
will
that
be
one I
getting
pulled out
that
of my ass.
lightsaber. I
Yeah.
will be getting that lightsaber.
It will happen.
If I'm
We've
honest,
already saved up our. We didn't buy a bar, so
did,
you
true.
could
We should
buy
have bought
this
that bar,
lightsaber.
though, shouldn't we? Okay.
We should
well,
have.
I really want to talk about it. I think
Okay.
that there's got to be a side story that we tell someday that's an alternate reality where we bought the bar.
It's just
I would be
cheers.
so
it's a real
down.
like slice of life anime like
Yeah.
style where we all just kind of bought a bar.
That would be
And we all
lovely.
stayed, and we just run a bar now, and we have a great time, and we're thriving, as opposed
We
It's
to
all
always
take-
sunny in Boros.
yes.
Maybe, but speaking as for Murray, I don't think he's ready to retire a second time.
That's
Right.
fair, but is
Oh.
it retiring if you're working in the bar? Like, there's so many things
I
you could do.
suppose. I suppose.
We'll just
Murray's an
make you-
adventurer.
Yeah.
make
Cut
you
to
just,
the
like,
the black
the
title screen
bouncer.
that just says the gang retires. Yeah.
yeah, you got to be the bouncer. Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, is in that scenario, is Murray Danny DeVito?
I think so.
Well,
Perfect.
let's talk about the NPCs a bit more, because we touched on Guy and a couple of others. But for all of you here, who are some NPCs, either your favorite NPCs or the NPCs you wish you had more time to fuck with and interact with more in the game?
Ooh.
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 Oh, the handsome one who wasn't the librarian.
Esmond?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The bad guy?
yeah.
No, he wasn't a
Esmond
bad guy.
Montauk.
He was just like
was the red
decoy.
herring.
Yeah, he was the red herring.
Yeah, I wonder what he's
Oh.
up to right now, because
Right,
he
he
wasn't
doesn't live
there in the
there.
cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he's
No.
okay.
Uh-oh. Is he dead?
No, I'm not.
Is he
I don't
evil?
know. I don't know.
Is he...
I have his
Something's
entire
up.
story mapped out. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. So that was one for me. I guess that's probably for personal reasons.
I'm curious about our drug dealer friend.
No, fuck
V-neck?
that guy.
Was that
Oh, the V.
Kalen?
V-neck.
Kalen, the
V-neck.
V-neck guy?
V-neck
Ben
guy.
V-neck?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want- you want
some of this stuff?
Yeah.
I'll throw in counts as one of my favorite episodes. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
I think that was incredibly ridiculous for the first half and incredibly heartbreaking for the rest. And I think it served all of our characters equally, like just a lovely little nugget.
So I've got
For
a question
everyone.
for all of you about that episode.
Yeah.
How much of your character backstory did you have plotted going into that episode, and how much came up on the fly?
Fly.
Totally on the
Zero.
fly for me too. Yeah.
Sorry, Vince. Zero.
I
I
had
gave Vince nothing.
I had
We
most
got
of
texts.
Dazzle mapped out. I originally wrote Dazzle off of a character that I was going to write a screenplay for. I had like an idea set aside, and Dazzle is based on that. So it was a character that I had written that I enjoyed very much, and I was like, nah, let's play it in D&D instead. Scripts are hard. So
Well, because I think
True.
some of you can attest, because I was texting a lot of
Yeah.
people before that episode went live, like, hey, so what's this thing that happened to you? What about this? How would you react to this? And I was asking, because, I believe as a DM, it's not your job to tell the player's story. You are the world, and you are creating a collaborative experience with the players. So whenever it came to like issues of backstory or what the characters have been through, that was something that I needed consent for in terms of what do you find agreeable for your own story. So I was asking a lot of permission of the players, like,
Very much.
is this okay? Is that okay? What have you? But then some people, like Kaylee especially, who had virtually nothing planned, and is like, you know what, carte blanche. And I'm like, great, I'm gonna give you a story then. And-
Which is exactly as a player and especially as somebody who DMs a lot. Also, I like to lean on other DMs when I can, especially when I'm playing. And because of the home game, Vince and I have just a history also where like you're used to
your
me
other
being like,
character is the same
story
way.
please.
Yeah.
Story please. And that's it. Like I'm sorry.
I love it. I mean, it
Not
gave
very
you have a compelling story, and you're also, again, because I just from not to derail this question a bit, but from just like a DM's perspective, I try really hard to not just tell the campaign's story and also the player's story. I try to find ways in which the players can be directly intertwined with the events of the world and the campaign, so they are not just having the story happen to them. They were already a part of it, and they discover what those connections are as the story unfolds. So that's why I work with you all so collaboratively to be like, hey, so here's how you are in this world in ways you might not even know yet.
yeah. How many times have y'all been terrified by a Vince text? When he
I
texts
love
you something about
I
your
love it.
character.
I
and
love it.
He sends the most ominous text messages about what's going to happen to us. He really does. And like, so
Never happened to
before
me.
before the season finale, he texted me and he was like, "Hey, what's a nickname that your character was called?" And I was like, "Oh, here's this name that she was called and she absolutely hates and is terrible." And he was like, "Maybe something nice?" And I was like, "I never thought of that." So I had to make up something on the fly that was
And
like
both
a
of those
nice
appeared in the
nickname.
episode.
And they did. They both popped up. I was like, this is
Yeah.
one that was used for torture. But I had to come up with a nice nickname. But I feel like every time Vince texts me something about my story, I'm like, fuck.
I definitely send like texts with no context.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, so would you be cool if like what if your brother died like
Yeah,
a few years
like,
ago?
what if?
Like what like oh, okay, yeah, I guess.
I guess,
I
right?
don't get those text messages because
Well, because I make your story up for you.
I'm just like, just tell me what happens in the show. I'll
Yeah.
react to it,
Yeah.
and then I'll be mad when it ties into the home game and I have no control over it. No control. but,
Dark
like,
Shadow in chat asked, they said that they enjoy the way that we all react every time Vince is delivering information because it's clearly a shock to all of us all of the time. How many times did Vince just completely surprise you with things? Like things that you just
The whole
absolutely
show.
never saw for your character.
Oh.
Like things that just took you off guard of either things that would happen to your character, not in necessarily the sense of writing your background, but this thing where it's like, hey, guess what, bitch? Because constantly.
Hefo, I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, all the time.
Not so. I mean, I guess I would say Murray being famous has sort of become a thing between Vince and I. And
I love it so much.
And that wasn't planned previously. Not really. Like it just
Like, so Gina, you and I talked about how Murray had this history as an adventurer, had like, this
Yeah.
obviously a career as a hero, but the whole thing, like,
But that it wasn't
he's
that
big in Japan
good.
kind of
Yeah.
concept of like he's really big in the Kaziric Empire. That was just off the cuff.
Yeah, it was like we'd always pitched him as just kind of like he thinks he's a really big hero, but he's never made it to any big league by any means. He's just kind of a small town wanders
Turns out
through
your
and
serials
does,
and your
turns
comics
out,
got around.
Turns
I love
out
the
my
idea-
romance comics have gotten far.
I love the idea
Horns
though
of
of it.
Destiny. Oh, there
I
it
know.
goes.
That
What do we
was
love?
perfect
Kirk
timing.
died.
What a cliffhanger.
Wow.
I love
love
the.
the
I was.
idea
Oh, sorry. I was gonna
Hey.
say that I love the
What?
ideal of it being like an Ed Wood thing, where your work was not appreciated in your own time.
Right.
But now that you're old and retired and you've been off the map for a while, like the stories have
Genius.
spread and
Yeah.
like everybody's just like, oh, Murray was this big hero, and I don't know. I fucking love it, and I love it more than I love it more than the idea of he never made it big, because now I'm always thinking about, well, if he was such a huge deal, how did he wind up alone in this
Right.
retirement home, and what's
Yeah.
that story? And I think that becomes so
You're
much
gonna
more
find out. I mean,
interesting.
we know
you
part
know?
of it.
You're gonna find out.
We know part of
Yeah.
it. We saw the
Do
little
you?
piece. Well, we saw
We
your
saw
like
your little vision.
yeah, we saw your like vision that Vince played out of your
Yeah.
adventuring party in theory and your
Sure.
past self. That's
I-
what
That's one moment in a
I
long
will
career.
say that is when Murray was quite a young man.
Oh
was
my.
when he lost his first adventuring party. But there were definitely mentions of a future person he meets that gets him adventuring again. So we don't know why he stopped. Again.
Dude Same said Murray wasn't alone. He had Lady Catherine.
Oh.
Oh.
Speaking, by the way,
Only for a few months.
of
Yeah,
someone
but it was
who
nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Feelings, I think.
Speaking of someone, though, who had a lot of surprises thrown at them, like who gave me pieces of story and certain things were agreed on, but then a lot of that was taken and ran with. Bora, you had this story worked out. You and I worked it out together in part, where we had your connection to Kelhani, we had your parents, we had Thorn, what have you. But a lot of beyond that was shrouded largely in mystery. How do you feel so far about how those mysteries have been playing out for the character?
I think it's great. And also what's been sort of surprising for me is that Bora has turned into sort of a different character, because when I would play her before, it was mostly at home games, and she was sort of it's weird to say Lady Himbo because that would be a bimbo, but it's not really a bimbo.
No,
She's
it's
a
kind of its own
Lady
thing.
Himbo.
Yeah.
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 But her role in the party from like the heavy hitter kind of, slow on the uptake to, kind of a caretaker has been really interesting. And what does that mean, like as a caretaker and adventurer? And so that's been kind of fun to discover. And especially for her having that attitude towards the rest of the world too, not necessarily a murder hobo, or not even out for adventure itself, but just trying to live and find answers. So it's been fun.
That's lovely. I would say that based on because having found out that there would be another paladin in the party, it was like, okay, let's figure this. Like, how do we make them different? How do we let's flavor them? And I definitely, the moment we met Bora, I started playing Murray differently because I was like, Murray was going to be I was going to play Murray much more cynical from the get-go. Incredibly sort of like closed off from people. And then we met Bora and I was like, if Bora's been taking care of me for months, there is no way that this infectious, lovely person hasn't infected Murray a little bit.
That's
there's just no way. So he's grumpy, but definitely your influence on Murray was huge.
Well, I think that goes
that.
for anybody. Like whenever you get a cast or a group at a table together, it changes how you play your character and how they interact with each other. And a lot of times it's a surprise to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same thing with Ella. I was like, her like Murray's best friends are Ella and Bora. Like, lovely people.
Yeah. They've clearly taken good care of him all this time. That's so adorable. Rababa asked, who was your favorite character to switch sheets with? Mine was Murray. I really enjoyed getting to be Murray. I liked doing the voice.
I did too. The voice is so much fun, but
it's
then
a lot of fun.
That one actually did. I was like, ooh.
It hurts, right?
Yeah.
I also want to chime in from like an exterior point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought the Dazzle chirp switch in the hair salon was very entertaining.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
That was pretty fun. We had a good time. And
Yeah.
I got you those stone phone digits.
Stone phone digits.
Which you've never used, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Not yet.
No,
Saving
here's the thing. Chirp, I don't think Chirp is the guy who literally gets the number and then never calls. He's not a good guy.
Not a good guy.
He's
No
not a good guy.
follow-through.
And he's also a little scared. I
think that's the main thing.
He's not a good guy, but it mostly comes from being scared and not being, not being actually bad.
One of my performance notes for you, Anthony.
Yeah, please.
I really love how you play Chirp's vulnerability and that you're not afraid to really lean into those scenes and show that aspect of the character, because it shows that you think that's as important as the cynical side of him, like not being a good guy. And I think the sincere moments are some of my favorite of Chirp's.
I think a cynical character. I think everybody wants to play like the dark, cynical, like I've seen it all, I'm the adventurer and I've been everywhere kind of character. Like it's like the first thing everybody wants to play.
Yeah.
And the problem with a cynical character who knows everything is they're very boring within like an hour. And so I love the idea of playing a 12-year-old who wants to be Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That to me is much more fun.
Yeah.
I adore that. Well, so kind of in reference to something, Gina, you said earlier about the way that you were going to play Murray, or perhaps some of the emotions he harbors that might not have come out as completely or were changed by your interaction with the characters. For everyone here, what are some things about the character, either in the way that you wrote them or envisioned them, that maybe just never came out in the season? If you're saving it for season 2, you don't have to say it, but like, what's something that you thought might have come up or come out that just never really, you didn't get around to it?
Oh, I have one that I thought was gonna come out in the last episode and it didn't.
Is it
and
a
I think
secret?
it's gonna because I it almost happened. It's gonna happen. I think next season is the values that Ella has and the values that Murray have. and how they clash.
Mm.
Like face
Oh,
value,
yeah.
Ella, like
Interesting.
face value, it's really different. But like that moment of stepping aside and allowing all sorts of fun murder to happen and encouraging it and realizing how not about it Murray was, I was like, oh right,
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
the fight with Dazzle's
Dazzles, yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
actually with both you and Dazzle's character, that kind of I remember that moment happening and realizing Murray's feelings while they were happening and then going, "Oh, okay.
And I was
This
like, oh, we're
this
gonna
makes
have to
sense.
have
I
this
can
out.
justify this. I
Yeah.
can justify why this is actually his feelings right now, and we're not gonna talk about it yet. I feel like this is a simmer
Yeah.
one.
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
that's so interesting. I think 100% that's a thing that's gonna be
Yeah.
possibly a nice,
I do think it was kind of funny in that like it Murray being there during that fight. I remember thinking like Chirp feels a little bad because like it's definitely like the other four of us probably are totally fine with cleaving someone in twain without thinking too much about it.
Mhm.
But I do remember thinking like Chirp is embarrassed that Murray is scolding him. Like I remember thinking that, like not scolding him, but disappointed, like where like I gave like the up or down and Dazzle was like down and I'm like, cool. And like and Murray was just like, we don't do that. And I was just
Yeah.
like, right. Oh, okay.
Also, the Spicy Boys.
The
Spicy
Spicy Boys.
boys. No, I think it's fascinating, and I don't think that there's like a right or wrong with any of the like. I don't think there is a right or wrong. There wasn't like Murray's taking the high ground. It's just unlike everyone else who's murder hoboing isn't. It's like that wasn't what it is at all. Everyone's doing the choices their characters would be making. Like my character, like Murray is the oath of vengeance. Like this is his deal. So I think that just maybe informed like his sort of hesitance to the thing he's oathed to is just sort of Murray's personal thing, and that doesn't mean anyone's choice of vengeance is wrong. He just clearly has got some history that we haven't really talked about yet.
Well, and that's the thing about Murray, right? Is out of all of us, I think we've all decided that our characters are pretty young. And so Murray's the only one that really has any perspective. And so I would imagine like even
when he remembers it.
Yeah. You swear an oath of vengeance when you're 20, and by the time you're 80, you're like, how much vengeance do I need to like? I've done so much vengeance.
Yeah.
I have venged a lot.
Oh, things have been venged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that something that I've never really addressed with Dazzle, but isn't like a big secret, is that her entire like, I'm gonna do crime and I roll with like the tough street kids is like so incredibly false. Like she was raised with like, had so much, like they had a lot of money, they were a very affluent family in this cult, but she just had no freedom and that was it. It was very like, Little Mermaid classic trope. So like anytime that she was doing things like even scamming in the retirement home, she doesn't really care about money. It's literally just the fun of getting away with things, and that's it. So anytime she's ever committed a
trust
crime,
fund kid.
yeah, she's 100% like she isn't
fucking
anymore.
running with a trust fund kid, and he
Absolutely.
hates it.
I literally wrote her to be such a trust fund kid, and because she left the cult, she doesn't have that anymore. But like money isn't like a thing for her. It's shiny fun. And that's it.
Sure,
and that was
Yeah,
the
I
whole
took
reason.
it.
I took it. I did it. And that's the whole reason that she was like, I'm going to scam poker games, because it was just a fun game this whole time.
I think not something that didn't come out about Chirp, but something that was supposed to be real about Chirp that wasn't real about Chirp is like, Chirp was supposed to be a good criminal. Like he's supposed to be good at it.
Oh, right.
And I think I had a couple bad rolls early on where I was just like, fuck it, this guy sucks at crime. Here we go. He's wanted everywhere because he gets caught all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
was
That's
great.
fair. Somebody in chat and Blue said, I'd love to know how Chirp and Dazzle met. I think we'll get to that eventually.
Sure.
Well, we'll have our
Hope so.
flashback episodes.
We'll have one eventually. I think we'll get there. I think there is a fun story there, and we worked out a bit of that in advance. But yeah.
And so, for all of you, what would you say was the most personally surprising moment in the season? The moment or scene or twist that either shocked you the most or kind of took you aback?
I can say that I didn't think you were going to like harass my fictional parents so much and have them gone and leave. I thought I was gonna have like a safe backstory to return home to. Nope. Surprise. Yeah, so that was a
That's
shock.
really
No one can have a good home life in Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
That's the thing. If you
Illegal.
make a backstory, the DM can ruin it.
Yeah,
I'm
there
just
we go.
kidding.
Man.
So see, it's a defense mechanism. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I don't make them. It's not out of laziness or anything else. Certainly not.
we all died in the last episode. That was surprising.
Yeah, that was a big
Oh
twist.
yeah, I burned my character sheet. Do we still
Yeah,
need that?
no.
Or
We're not still playing these characters.
No, this is the end of the whole show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna do a good place, but D&D.
Yeah.
right.
But it was the bad place the whole
like
time.
you all would go
Play
to
the
the good
hell out of
place.
that.
Yeah.
Play the hell out of that.
I wish the circus had been open.
That was a surprise. Oh.
What?
That was
Honestly,
that was one of those ones where I was just, oh, there's a circus, and Vince is like, no, there's not a circus.
Oh,
I didn't
there's
say
a circus.
circus.
Oh,
I was like, no, but there's a
closed sign on it
circus.
right there.
no. We don't
Yeah.
care that it's closed, and it's like, no, you don't go.
Oh no,
We're
there's
like,
barbed wire.
oh, no,
they're
we're
putting up. They're
going.
bricking a wall around it.
Weird.
Like I know it's my backstory episodes where I'm like, yeah, circus. Where's the circus? Let's go to the circus.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Oh, Dazzle, go
no,
ahead.
please.
Or
No,
Sage.
please, you. It's
One of
Joey.
you.
Thank you.
Joey,
Joey.
please go.
Joey,
No.
could I speak to Dazzle, please?
Sorry, give me a second.
Joseph Thomas. all
After
right.
you, Joey.
One thing that actually surprised me, and you'd think, I don't know, I guess in a game like this, it's fair that I would also be surprised an awful lot, is how much of the story I actually changed somewhat on the fly based on the way that you all responded to the world and ideas you even just casually pitched. Like initially, and Ash can attest to this because now she's been involved in a lot of the actual like narrative crafting of this story. But initially, and I guess this is more of a tidbit for Kaylee and Sage perhaps, but initially the drow you all met in the shop in Ajiha. And the drow who was going to
play
be
a game
central.
together at home. We get it. We all understand.
The drow who was going to be
Jesus.
central to that whole plot with Deriza was not going to be Kifo, and they were going to be separate people entirely. And he was going to die pretty shortly into that narrative. And then literally I was midway writing the session one day where we introduced him, and I thought, you know what would be fun? Just fuck it, and just threw it in there.
Imagine Kaylee's face when I say Kifo.
And so it's little things like that, and there were a lot of those moments throughout the season where that tiny choice done kind of on a lark, just for shits and giggles, is now going to fundamentally alter the story of the entire campaign going forward.
Woo!
And that's D&D, baby.
That's D&D.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, I might digress this slightly, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious what you all think. Obviously, all of you had a minor, perhaps, falling out with Philemon in this last episode.
A minor falling.
I don't want to split hairs. Whatever. Okay, you went different paths, But all of you who know as much as you do about Philemon, who is this very, very this character very central to the narrative in this show, what is your take of him? What do you think his thing is? What's he going
Evil. He
Ooh.
killed the rest of the Magialum, and he's evil. Sorry.
No,
I have a thought on it. I think.
Are you gonna tell us?
Anthony
I have several.
started talking.
Do you
too,
want
so
us
I was
to
gonna let
actually
Anthony
have
talk.
theories?
I have
I
a
was gonna let
thought. Cut to
Anthony
black.
talk. I was being polite, but never mind. I think that he is like the Doctor. That's how I picture him, where he
Aw.
has no
very
personal
charitable.
investment in any of it, and does not like. He finds personal investments along the way, sure, but he is responsible because like clearly we've had a weird time thing happen. There is clearly a weird time thing in this world in general. I think that he has a responsibility to maintain certain outcomes of things that is completely irrelevant to us, and that we were just a
Time
stop
cop.
along the way.
Yeah,
Got
I
it.
kind of see the same thing where like I thought of him more as like a Varys from Game of Thrones, where it's like his job is to make sure that things go the best way possible for the world as a whole, right? And because he has this ability to sort of
For the
see the
realm.
future for the realm, yeah. So if the best possible future, if he sees the future and the best possible future is we die, but because we die 100 million people live and there's a age of prosperity, well then he does that and he throws us in front of the bus, you know, like and I think that's his sort of character. And like he's truly neutral, you know what I mean? He's like, it's my job to make sure things go as well as possible, and I'm crunching the numbers, and that means you guys have a bad time.
But he also like there's a possibility that he knows that we're gonna die, and then also it's gonna be fine, and he's not gonna know exactly what that is, but he's got to follow that part through.
Right.
The only way we're gonna be fine is if we die first. Like there's like definitely like benefit of the doubt time, which I don't normally do ever, but like we did die and we were fine, and maybe the only way that Lotion could have been at any point defeated is if we die too.
Yeah, we obviously had no chance of defeating Lotion in that moment, which is a good time to mention. Anne Blue in chat said maybe if y'all remembered his name, he wouldn't have left you to die.
Give him a new name.
Maybe
it was a term of endearment.
Maybe if he hadn't led us through a wardrobe in episode 1, he wouldn't have gotten the nickname. That's a
Sat
real
out of
strong
every
character
fight.
choice that he made.
And set out of every fight.
Right. He made a very strong character choice. So, like, you get judged based on your choices. And
Look,
also
Philemon
sometimes
just
just
likes
based on
to
your
watch.
name. Okay, well, I wish, well, okay.
Yeah, you could have said that literally any other way.
I wish that was never said.
Yeah, I do wish that was never said. And, like, Lotion, yeah, that's their own fault. Like,
It's funny you mentioned Lotion, because I actually had a lot of people hitting me up on the Discord about like, so how do you spell literally any of these names?
yeah.
Because like all the names of the cities, like, and actually I draw a lot of specific inspiration from different cultures for both the naming conventions for cultural motifs within each different area of the world. Like all of the names of Kazuric cities, for the most part, actually translate roughly into Macedonian, and they actually mean things. A Jiha means magic, essentially, and the same is true for most of those cities. If you look on like the west coast of the world, there's 2 cities. I believe they're both in Caceres, which is Ita and Wets, which was going to be the origin of the common words east and west, and they originally started in Elvish and became over time translated into like Old Common and Common. Those little narrative nuggets are hidden all throughout the world, but usually are just for me.
Fair.
Well, I
That
wanted
level of world building is wild to me.
Yeah.
right. I really want to point out.
you to give me the story.
But that's
Yeah.
that's what I love though. It's that
Sorry
it's
there.
that thing that like
No.
Brad Bird says is like you put 100% into your movie and people get 10% of your story and your meaning out of it, but you have to put that 100% in so people get the 10%.
I want to share a quick story about the level of difference in that I was guesting on something else and I had to come up with the name of an alien race and did zero research whatsoever and was unfamiliar with the term Merkin and called myself the Merkin, and that is now on my IMDb page.
I
And
love
so
that though.
You could like go into the language and really invest in something, or you could just say a word that you
Call
thought
yourself a
sounded
Merkin.
funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
Oh,
That's like the
very
best
with
good.
improv
Anthony.
stuff. That's the best improv stuff. Is like, I'm a merkin. It's like, no, it means something else here. Shut up. Like,
It's great.
It means hope in my language.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
B-Dave's here. B-Dave, we were just talking about you.
Hi, B-Dave.
We were
Werner
talking
Hertz
so
dog.
much shit. No, we were talking about how much we loved having you on. We were talking about
Yes.
Now I want Werner Hertzog back.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring him back.
Well, and Gina had mentioned it before, but B-Dave is a master of improving and then making it seem like it's baked into whatever world he's
Yeah.
in. It's
Absolutely.
genius. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yup.
And yeah, I mean, again, like I had some discussions with people. I think it was possibly not always weak who brought this up on the Discord about having a wiki, a fandom for the show. And I'm like, oh, I've got one. Like
It exists. It exists.
it's 50 pages. But
Yeah.
the problem is, and this is a bit of a thing with the show, is the show takes place in 210 post traverse, and because the home
that
game
written
takes place
down.
in 1277 post traverse, the fandom is written from the point of view of 1277, 1,000 years after this campaign takes place. So there's
we are
a lot of
accepting
stuff about how this campaign ends.
Well,
in,
we are
in that
accepting
wiki.
fan contributions to a fandom page. If y'all want to start chronicling that.
I'm accepting fan contributions to an OnlyFans page.
What does that mean? Are you posting nudes of the fans?
Yes,
That's fucked up.
with their
kinda
consent.
weird.
With consent.
It's still kind of weird, Anthony.
I'm accepting
I'm
contributions.
sorry, Joseph.
Thank you. Call me by my given name.
I prefer the pizza bit.
Joey.
Thank you. I was really hoping that like the way it's written would inspire the chia. Like I just really wanted it. Thank you.
So also, what's sort of for all of you, for your own characters, what is something you're all looking forward to in terms of where you are personally going? Like, what do you see ahead for you?
Lightsaber.
Fuck off, man.
That's it. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the only thing I want. Lightsaber. and now you know that, and you know how much I want it in my heart, and it's up to you whether I get that lightsaber, and that's on you as a friend and
No,
as
I'm
a
gonna
person.
have to one day.
There are two for Murray, but they're both kind of spoilers.
Right.
Ooh.
One with
By all
Murray
means.
and
Yeah.
Bora.
Oh yes, we'll keep that
So-
for
Yeah.
the successive seasons.
Yeah, and there's like a spoiler that's baked into the existence of Murray that I just can't wait to keep telling you all slowly.
We've dropped all kinds of hints.
Yeah.
I know, it's great.
The
Dazzle.
turning one.
What's that?
I really want to know. I want to know
Oh,
why you
yeah.
can't turn to the right.
Yeah. We all want to know that. Can you answer that?
There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Murray has a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical issues.
He's very
What's going
he's very
on?
old, and he's like, I picture Murray like a really old Batman, you know, where it's just like a lot of
So
head
current
trauma and
Batman?
scar tissue.
Current Batman.
Right.
Got it.
Or
Chaos
it's-
them.
Snyder cut Batman.
Chaos them. I just want to answer your question really fast. Gina, has Murray ever been in love? And the answer is, oh yes.
Yeah. Many times.
Yeah.
For you, Elliot, Chaos Them, I have your list of questions from Twitter. We will get into all of those Twitter questions in a little bit. So don't think that I'm going to
Oh.
skip your questions. I got you because your list of questions is absolutely fantastic and I love it.
Yeah, no, we'll do them all. We got time.
Okay, I'm passing the torch.
Kaylee,
Yeah,
if-
anybody else?
Kaylee, if you could just focus real quick.
I'm having trouble. I'm
Look,
struggling.
I love the Days of Our Lives thing you got going on right now. This is great.
Character-wise for Dazzle, she is like low-key discovering that she is not the alignment she thought she was. And that was something I always kind of knew and always had in mind for the character, but I think it's something that we started kind of developing at the end of the season. And I'm excited about that because the reality of the situation, again, it comes back to Dazzle thinks that she is mean and tough and evil, but she doesn't actually like it. She just, it's childhood trauma mostly. So she
And
definitely,
you know, maybe it takes a few dead spicy boys to figure that out.
yeah, there's definitely this where like she just decided that she's bad, so she acts based on that, and a lot of the like bad things she does are based on that. And there is this like low-key secret alignment thing happening within her right now, and she's not comfortable with it, and she's not ready for it, but it's brewing.
I think it's more secret to Dazzle than it is to anybody around
Yes.
Dazzle.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. She's not ready to acknowledge it though.
Yeah.
In any way. But like everyone knows it. And that's why I was like, well, it's not a spoiler. Like everyone can see that. But she's like, no, tough, mean, bad.
Which is a Sage thing as well.
Yeah. But it's true for me. So.
And then maybe this is a similar question, but where do you all think, what do you think the future holds for this series? Just as a comment on the story itself, where do you feel things are going, or perhaps where is the direction you'd like it to go?
Buying a tavern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Settling down and buying a tavern altogether. I think that's where it's going, and I think that's where I
I'm
want it to
100%
go.
on board with that.
All I've ever wanted was a little tavern by the circus.
Yeah,
Oh my
one day.
God.
That's the other thing is I hope one day we all get to go to the circus together.
Yeah.
And I hope that we meet Curse.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
character
Also-
that
At the
little
circus.
transformation into that day.
Can I just say I also love that, because by the way, this was not the intended canon when I wrote the episode. They were always going to perhaps leave the continent, of course, but the fact that you all drove the South Marches out of the continent. So for those of you, again, just fast forwarding in time a little bit, there's an entire civilization, an entire province of Tarif, one of the overseas continents, called South March, which was founded in part by the South March family, which that little tavern encounter was a reference to. And it turns out you're the ones who drove them to flee the country in the first place.
Hell yeah. I love
History
that.
has its eye on you.
We're
Oh
into it.
boy. Great. Well, if y'all want to, we can pop over to some Q&A.
Okay. We'll take questions from chat as well. I'm going to start with the questions that were sent to us on Twitter. Grumpy Steen asked, is Cornbread a baby Zaratan? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That could be Ella with full-grown cornbread. It's the turtles that have like the whole
Yeah, the big.
island
Oh,
turtles.
Interesting.
To me, it's one of the big lion turtles from Avatar.
Right, right.
Yeah, you did this thing.
Before we bended the elements,
Yeah.
we bent the energy within ourselves.
Do you think Cornbread could head in that direction?
I don't know. I'm gonna let Cornbread, determine his own narrative, and by that I mean, once again, I am being lazy and letting Vince tell me.
Sure, of
But-
course.
I think anything is possible for a small tortoise who wears hats.
Oh, that's
That's also
excellent.
not just laziness, but also I think that's the magic of the show is that literally with the chat's help too, anything could happen and
Yeah,
we just have to
really
run
could.
with it.
That's very true. I have a question
Cornbread
for Xander
can
then from
dream
Elliot. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
What was that?
Cornbread can dream manifest.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
he
it
was-
worked for Rodney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Elliot asked, has Bora ever been in a fashion show?
I don't think so, but she would absolutely love it.
I hope we can make
Bora-
that happen.
Yeah, definitely grew up in like the small town on a farm, but like the kid that stuck out type of thing. So permanently the kid that just moved to school. So
Mhm.
the experience of traveling around and being like appreciated for skills is I think new for her, which is a
Aw.
fun thing to experience.
Aw. In our head, she got that promotion. In all of our
Yeah,
heads.
she
Did.
Oh yeah.
Just so you
Well,
know, we
this whole
appreciate
campaign
it.
is just getting her that promotion.
Yeah.
As
The
as
fact
a
that oh, go ahead, Vince.
no, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say that to name a favorite moment, just the fact that Bora saying, "Oh, this must be my promotion," and
I
the
love
fact that
that.
everyone, even
It's
people who had
random.
just met her that
Yeah.
day, was like, "Yeah, this woman deserves a promotion."
Yeah.
And then led to the most iconic confessional that is
So
ever
true.
Yeah.
The origin of a
Horrible.
Borable.
As a
Okay.
comment on that, though, I do want to say that perhaps you've noticed, but one of my favorite storytelling tropes, or like D&D tropes, is I love creating those scenes where I give each of you absolute total freedom and agency to just do something wild for yourself, whether it's picking your outfit and identity for a royal ball, or in any other situation where you just improv some weird shit on the spot and you all just take the spotlight for a second. I love creating those moments. So, fashion show is definitely on the docket.
Hey, there we go. So we also have what is Chirp's favorite snack? Because you always steal Murray's favorite
Someone
snacks and
else's.
Bora's favorite
yeah.
snack.
So Bora's Chirp's favorite snack. I think he does love like berries and leaves and stuff, but he tries not to let people know that because
Love a
that's
good leaf.
Stereotypical. Is it too
yeah, it's just a stereotypical bird thing, and so he doesn't want to lean into that because he's got depth and he's got facets.
He's a cool bird.
He's a cool bird. He's a different bird. He's gonna sit in his bird chair backwards and rap to you about what life is. So I think that's why he keeps stealing them from Bora. But I think if you were to ask what Chirp's favorite was, it would probably be macarons.
Oh,
That makes sense.
Fancy boy.
Fancy.
I mean,
Yeah,
same.
he wants to be a
fancy boy.
fancy boy.
Desperately. I love it. They also asked, what is Dazzle's favorite form to look like? It was unquestionably a fainting widow. Without a question. I mean, I would be that fainting widow.
Parts of that
every
stuck with
day.
you even
Yeah.
after that bit was
Yeah,
over.
We had so much fun that she just kind of kept it. So she's always ready to faint at any given time. That was her favorite. And
The
if
fainting
Ella-
boar.
The fainting boar.
The fainting boar, the
Oh,
city where
God.
everything was made of boars, and I had so many questions.
Dazzle's
that was
goal
not
is to
written
have
in the
her own
notes.
fainting boar, without question.
Not
We're trying to
only
get
were
there.
we in Boros, but in a
Uh-huh.
place that had boars, my character's name was Bora. We were playing over Zoom. It made it very difficult. Me? No. Me? No. Me? No.
Boar.
Boar. If Ella could make one pastry to always have on hand, what would it be? And I want to add, and what would it do?
Macarons. It'd be macarons for her good
Macarons
friend
that are
Chirp.
only lethal to
And it
Chirp.
would kill
For her
him.
good
And
friend
it would
Chirp.
just kill him every time.
Oh, we're
Anti-Chirp
friends.
macarons.
No, it would have to be something that would I want it to be very southern. I want to have like little strawberry shortcakes on
Aw.
hand
Mm.
all the time.
Cute.
But like it would be absolutely randomized as far as like what they would do.
I
You
love
gotta
that.
leave that up to Fedor.
That's fantastic. And Vince,
Hi.
Elliot asked, "Who's your
I was-
favorite NPC?" Oh, what?
I was just gonna say, watching a lot of Bake Off lately, and I really do picture a lot of the stuff that Ella pulls out of her bag as stuff from Bake Off, and I really do think that she would have like a Venetian whirl. Did you ever watch the season where they had to make Venetian whirls and they have like strawberries and cream in the middle of them,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
like yeah.
So just
Or
pull a
it's-
whole princessa torta out of her bag and it's just that like weird green whatever and just be like, yes, this is the thing that definitely is gonna kill you.
It's a sad Freddie Mercury cake that's made out of fondant.
Oh no! I've seen
No
that.
fondant.
God.
No fondant
so
from
bad.
Ella. Ella doesn't believe in fondant.
Oh god. Also,
Good.
everybody Google search Mary Berry eating. Everybody.
Yeah.
You all
She
have
turns,
to Google
she
image
turns
search
from
Mary
a
Berry
perfectly
eating.
normal and sweet old lady into some sort of like a vampire when she
It's
eats.
the
God.
best
She
visual
just
on the
she's
planet.
like, oh hello, oh I'm eating.
Yeah.
Like the second she eat, her entire face pulls.
Yeah, she turns into Snoke real fast.
Unhinges her jaw.
Sorry, you had a
So,
question. You had a question
think-
for
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah, the
Vince,
question
who's
was,
your favorite NPC? Oh, you
Favorite
did.
NPC.
Who's your favorite PC? Who's your favorite character?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
that, was,
yeah.
that was very easy, as a matter of fact. I have it written right here. You see? There's the name.
Ah.
Oh, it's
the camera
it's
slowly
B Dave.
focused.
It's
It was B-Dave.
It was Dave the whole time.
So my favorite NPC. Well, I actually have two answers to that. The first is just on a personal level because this is an NPC from the home game who played a big
We
role
get
in that,
it.
and
We fucking get it.
you know what? Chirp might just die. You know,
Yeah, maybe.
We're all
you won't-
dead.
You won't wind up in
Maybe he
We're
will
dead.
because
We
he's
did
not
it.
he's not important. He's not in the home game. Maybe we just kill him off.
Top of the second seaon, you all are together in the cell. Chirp just died. Like he just
Oh,
died
my.
normally.
Yeah, weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hurts.
It would be Philemon. Now, of course, he's known under a different name in the main campaign in the home game.
Oh, that's
but
the main
that,
one now.
Well, it started all this. It started the whole story off. Technically, though, you are telling the prehistory of this world. Though you're telling like the actual foundation of the story. And
You're
this is
assuming we're
also-
gonna let Philemon live, ever.
He's let you live this long.
I bet I could take him.
This also, oh my god, the sword.
Let's
So Fire
go.
Demon's near and dear to me because he's also like the voice of the DM in the world.
For sure.
And I make all my meta jokes and shit. Oh look, through
Oh.
Philemon. But secondly to that, and maybe this is a bit of a cop-out answer, but I really enjoy playing any NPC that has a direct connection, a lot of importance to player backstories, and letting them tell a story through the scenes they have with an NPC, which for me at that point, I'm not even taking lead. I'm following what the player's doing and letting them have a moment to tell their story and tell that not just through their own character, but through this NPC that frankly belongs to them as well. And having that collaborative scene, which you see they're sprinkled all throughout this show, those are probably my favorite moments.
That was great. Okay,
Thanks.
next.
Great.
Great. Next. So Ray said, any idea how long Dazzle and Chirp have known each other?
We worked that out.
We did work that out. How long did we decide? Numbers are not my strong suit.
It depends
I know how long
on.
it was.
It depends on how old Chirp actually is.
That's true.
Yeah, that
You
number
changed
keeps
your age
changing.
multiple times. Originally you were 7, and now you said 12. So now you are elderly.
Yeah, he's not 12.
Yeah, 12
I'm
is an
pretty sure
old
you're
fucking
7.
Aarakocra.
I'm pretty sure you were
Yeah.
supposed to be 7.
Yeah.
So I think we had decided on, what did we say? Like, we traveled together for.
I think we traveled together for like 2 or 3 years, and
Yeah.
then there's been a year where there had been a year before the retirement home that we hadn't seen each other or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right. So we were both teenagers essentially at the time. Very different forms of that bird version of teenager and like whatever I am.
Can you
version of
imagine how
teenager.
gangly a bird teenager is? Can you imagine? You think you were all limbs as a teenager. Wait until you see a fucking bird.
Yeah. So we traveled together doing petty crime most of the time for about 2 to 3 years. And it had been about a year since we had seen each other when he found me at the retirement home. That was my favorite. I was so excited for that moment. Because I knew how annoyed Chirp was going to be just based on the characters that we had laid out already. And I
Yeah.
knew how fucking obnoxious I would get to be. Ugh.
That was a great moment.
We got a few episodes in before I think like Dazzle and Sage's hurt feelings started to become as one. Where I think you were just like, are we friends or are we not friends?
No, because Dazzle genuinely
Why
believed
is
all
Chirp
of this time.
still mad?
Because Dazzle all this time didn't think you were really mad. Like, Dazzle just doesn't really process all of that information. Like, you just left, and she was like a little bummed that you left. But like
Yeah,
in general, she was
think
still
in
like, I didn't
Dazzle's
do anything
mind-
wrong. We're cool.
Yeah, I think in Dazzle's emotions change so quickly
Yeah.
that I think as far as Dazzle knew, Chirp got mad and he left, and then things came up. You know, like
Yeah.
he just got busy, and
Yeah.
she got
Life.
busy, and we got distracted, and
Right.
it never really
We're
occurred
old
to her.
friends.
Yeah, it never really occurred to her that like if
He
you
was
fuck somebody
hiding from
over,
me.
yeah.
Again,
You
I
find
would
a
like
stranger
to
in the
clarify,
Alps,
don't
Larry.
change our backstory. She did not fuck him over. She did something
No.
on a job that he didn't like, that he was not comfortable with, and he left because of it.
I mean, it was worth not liking.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It was-
He was against her actions, but she didn't fuck him over, and that's a very different approach.
That's
to
fair.
It.
Would you say that doing actions that go directly against agreements between a friend is sort of fucking that friend over?
Well,
I'm
we'll
not sure if
approach
it's
that
all the
another
way
time.
over.
Yeah.
Perhaps fucking upon. It's not quite
Okay,
over.
well, no.
I've been
No,
slightly
let's not.
fucked upon. Ever so slightly fucked upon.
I'd like to ask the next question.
What the fuck is happening?
Anyway,
Talking about
Somebody
anymore.
definitely-
Look, we had to end that conversation somehow.
Somebody who
Yes.
definitely isn't me asked on Twitter, why can't Dazzle fly? Why won't anyone give her flight speed? Do you think it's unfair that she had a mullet for half of the season? And do you think that Dazzle should probably be
Nope.
given flight speed in season 2?
Nope.
I think if she
Mullets
just,
are great.
I think if she arches her back and really believes in herself and like keeps
Heard that
her eye
before.
on the target, you know, I think it'll work.
I'm sorry, Dazzle was blessed with a mullet
Sander.
for 3 episodes. Dazzle
Yeah.
Dazzle received the beautiful gift that is a mullet. which might make a reappearance one day.
God, I
With
hope
plus 2 charisma.
I mean,
Hey,
look, the
there you go.
charisma was nice, but like
When
it
it grew
wasn't
long,
worth it.
it
I
was
didn't get to
plus
use
4.
it that much. I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
I got to use it enough. So, let's see. Catching back up on other questions. Does the powerful and mysterious doll totem come with a range of outfits and accessories? What's its Halloween look?
God. Oh my God. Just yeah. Let's know. I'm picturing like a troll doll with outfits you
Ooh,
can change
Like
out.
a
Okay.
dream house? Does it have
the
a dream
worst.
house?
Have a gem in the belly.
Oh my God.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
why not? It's okay,
Big hair.
here's my reaction. It's one of like it really is. It is the single most important object in the entire story of the whole 3 campaign arc. Like that, the entire plot of the entire world revolves around that one object. Whether it's this show, the home game, the 2 campaigns after the home game, anything
We
else,
Get it.
fuck
There's
you.
nothing else.
Everything revolves around that little goddamn golden figurine.
Yeah, does it have a little
I
pink
chucked
car
that
and
into
a
the
little
ocean.
jet?
It has a little pink car. Yeah.
Yeah, a little jet.
Little hot tub.
Absolutely. So everybody can start suggesting in the Failed Save channel on Discord various accessories to go along with the doll. What you'd like to see in our doll launch when we make Failed Save.
I made the mistake of
Doll
calling
line.
it the doll.
Yeah.
That was
You
an
did.
error.
That was on
I
you.
am canonically, and I'm so bummed that I had a poor roll for it, but I'm canonically convinced that it is a troll doll. I think
can't
it looks
stop you.
exactly
I
like
can't
a
stop
troll,
you, buddy.
like a troll doll. And as long as Vince doesn't describe the doll as anything except golden and a doll,
Ah,
we
but
can
I really
all-
did.
We can
Ah,
all
I
imagine
really
it's a
did, though.
troll doll. No. As long as Vince never says anything.
Did you describe it more than that? Because I don't remember, and all I pictured as
I
one of those
did.
creepy
As a
little
troll
dolls that
doll.
only grandmas have. You know the
I
dolls.
welcome.
Grandma house
like a-
dolls.
Oh.
They're
Precious
up on the
moment.
shelf.
Yeah, like a Precious Moments or like a Yadro
Madame
figurine.
Alexander.
Glass face.
I welcome
where
your
the bottom
imagining.
is squishy and the face is glass for some reason.
That's so
The
upsetting.
C3PO tape dispenser from the 70s.
Oh my
So that's
Oh,
how I
Lord.
picture the
It's
doll.
one of those like artist figures that they use for like form studies.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
totally formless, and it's
We
like
all had to
form-
do it.
Bending.
yeah.
You know this one?
You know.
I always talk with my hands.
No, I was doing it.
Someone said it's really an action figure. Action figure.
Right.
Oh boy.
All right, I think that's all I have from Twitter right now. I'm going to go over to Instagram for a second here. If we want to
We
take
have
some from
questions
chat.
everywhere.
I know. And we had some that have popped up in chat that I'm a little behind on. Was anyone else tempted
In
to make
chat,
an old
yes,
person
in
or just
chat,
Gina?
that's the doll. That's the doll canonically. That is what the doll
Oh,
looks
what did they
like. in
post?
just
I don't have it
Christina
open.
got
all
it.
of them.
Canonically,
Let's see it,
it's
everybody.
the doll.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Your reactions alone tell me I'm going to hate this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
you
is
are.
You're
it.
gonna love
I
it.
hate
This is it.
I don't have it open. What's it
What a
look like?
gift.
It's a
Like
golden
a
troll.
gift.
golden
You
troll.
have to open it.
You have to look. Just
open
you
it.
have to look.
Yeah,
at
you
it.
got to
You
look.
have
But
to
it's
open
not.
it.
No, you
chat's,
have to.
Chat's gonna not. I can't see the old chat.
Oh God.
Hang on.
Okay. Hold on. That's fine.
Here,
That's
hold
okay.
on. Here we go.
It's in our Zoom chat for you.
Joey,
Okay,
Joey
there we
put it
go.
in there.
Oh
What
God.
just happened?
I don't know. Joey,
What?
come back.
No source
Joey.
selected.
Oh, that's
Joey.
the worst thing I've ever seen right
How
It
does
there.
says
I-
no source selected right there in the center.
What the hell?
I have no idea.
I didn't do anything.
Power of the doll.
It's not.
Aw.
I don't know.
Grandpa tried to post a link. Grandpa tried to post a
This
link
is
and
why
he
I
broke it.
don't. What?
The doll
Speaking of
cursed the
Arnie,
Zoom call.
Arnie
Oh,
did ask
boy.
if anybody else was tempted to make an old person, or if it was just Gina. And like, Ella is not young.
Right.
Oh.
Ella's
What
like
do
a
I do?
like mom style like cleric. She's
If you-
not a kid.
Hmm.
She's Paula Dean, but a turtle.
Yeah.
Is
And
your,
also-
Great. I
not
was trying to
racist.
find.
Or any of those
Right,
things.
other than that.
about Paula Deen.
Yeah, of course.
Like-
do we have? Did we have any other questions?
Yeah. We were just accepting them from chat for a minute. I was just letting
What?
Joey
Gina's
work their
reactions
stuff
are
out.
just gonna
I
be.
can't tell if Gina's is getting
Pictures.
better or worse.
What? There we go.
Oh my God.
I had
You
to
were like
turn-
weirdly letterboxed for a minute, and then
Yeah.
like.
I have no idea what just happened. None at all.
That's so wild.
Cass
That's
said, "What if
very
we don't
strange.
give Dazzle flight speed, but we
Okay.
give a really big jump distance boost?"
Right, falling with style.
I'll take it.
I'll take it into
Superboy,
consideration.
Oh, and
Oh,
also, not always. Anthony, stop.
Is mine working?
Anthony, I hate
Gina
you.
has her.
Not
Gina
always-
has hers working, but is mine working?
Boo.
I can. Okay, I'll kick you off this
Oh,
call.
I can ban him.
Yeah,
I can ban him.
Yeah,
Hang on.
kick him off the call.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
did I miss any questions while I was frantically not
No,
listening?
no, you were
No.
good.
Yeah,
Not
you vamped.
always weak. I would like to bring attention to this. They said, I'm doing a thing. If anyone likes wikis, help me do the thing. And there is a link in chat. They're making us a little fandom wiki.
I encourage, yes, please,
Yay.
if you want to fill out a new, like, the failed save fandom with details from this show, go for it.
And you know
I
that Vince
wish...
can flesh out some of the details.
Oh, I could, yeah. I wish that I could use the proper Boros fandom for it, but it's full of so much...
Yeah, well, I
Someday.
started a new one, and
Shit.
that's okay. But a
Someday they'll connect.
huge shout out
Yes.
to Not Always Weak for starting that. Thank you. Genuinely,
Thank
it has been so absolutely shocking to watch, like, how everyone is connected with the campaign and the story and the show and the characters. So I did want to take a moment to just say thank you all so much for making our first season so fun and so engaging for us. Watching y'all talk about it in the Discord and talk about it in chat, like, even though a lot of the time we don't get to respond to chat during the show, watching how invested everybody is genuinely the coolest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
And it means so much, and we appreciate it so much. So doing things like this, it just feels really special. It's something that's so above and beyond and out of your way, and we appreciate it very much. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you very, very much. We'll take a couple more from chat, and then we'll call it a night. We've only got a few more minutes left. So
I
if
see
y'all wanna
another
throw something in
question.
there.
If
Dark
you-
Shadow.
Yeah.
Dark Shadow said, Anthony, naming your sword caught everyone off guard. Was that your what was your mindset when you came up with that?
I was genuinely for the first while, I was taking those suggestions for the sword, and I did mean to do it. I did mean to name it something like it was like Wealth Slayer or something. Like, people had some good ones for like Chirp's sword, but I think that there was just such a flip in the way Chirp saw everybody that he's partied up with over time, and especially Murray. Because if you remember in the first episode, there was a lot of just like goofing on the old guy and trying to scam the old guy.
Yeah.
And like, there was a lot of stuff over time where like, especially in the episode with the deep V, when we all went into our
The
backstories.
Uchiha hangover.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
when we all went into our backstories, and when Murray was like, I'm gonna get Silas out of here for you," that was like a big changing moment for Chirp, just because it was like, oh, you can trust people, and people can do good. And so when Murray was like, oh, you can name a sword to honor a person, especially a person that's died or that's gone. I think the first thing that Chirp thought when Murray was dying and he was dying together, he's like, this sword, I'm a hero with this sword, and Murray's like the only real hero I know. So of course it's got to be Murray. So it kind of like, I knew that I was going to do it about as soon as I realized that the encounter was designed for us to die. As soon as I was like, oh, this is an unwinnable encounter. Got it. Okay.
What's funny though is, as I promised, that episode did have multiple endings depending
Right.
on the choices you all made. Now, I will say you were not going to kill Losha in that final moment, because she had fully accessed the power of the doll and was using it quite acutely. However, there were multiple paths out of that episode. You all did take the one that I was kind of hoping would happen, because it
Oh, good.
links up to other parts of the story really well. But I had plans for, what if you try and drag Philemon over to the cage before it goes up? What if you don't take the offer from the god? What if Ella does not crush the orb? What if I had to plan for all that stuff? And some outcomes were not as good.
I actually have a question from that. Now, on that episode, we did our first ever donation goal, which you guys absolutely decimated.
Decimated. Thank you so
Oh, my
much.
goodness. Thank you. But I wonder if we could give any insight. I don't know if it's too spoilery as to what changed, because we gave them the option of essentially creating the spookier kind of plot twist
the
there.
twist, yeah.
So whether it be like what was the thing that changed or what might have happened otherwise, can you share any of that?
The twist was Losha mastering the power of the doll.
That wouldn't have happened?
That would not have happened without that donation tier.
Whoa.
Thanks, chat.
That's huge.
You
Which is why you
fucked us
saw-
with your generosity.
Wow.
Which is why you saw that pillar of
Oh.
energy emit from the palace, is that was her finally like unlocking it and then drawing you all into a trap.
That was before we even like stepped foot into the city. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
it goes
It was
off.
all
Vince
in
is
the
even
camp.
Vince
The
is even
moment we
DMing
walked
you in
through.
chat.
Yeah, right? Wow. That's
Wow.
okay. Okay.
That's not what I thought you were
Not
going to
what
say.
I
at
thought
all.
either. And-
I promised chat that if they hit that level, that tier, it would fundamentally alter the story of the campaign.
And it sure
that
did.
It sure did.
On a lighter note, the last question is how tall are all of the PCs?
Chirp is
Oh,
5
no.
feet tall, 5 foot even, which is very, very
Wait, the
tall
players
for a
or the
bird.
characters?
The characters.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very
I don't
tall
wanna
for a
say it
bird.
wrong.
Yeah. I believe I made Dazzle like 5'7" or 5'8", which is like the tallest character I've ever written because I write tiny hobbit people like me usually. So I was like, I'm gonna be tall, 5'7", and then Bora walked in and I was like, oh.
Right. Bora's tall. I can't remember. Did I make her 7 foot or like 6'7" or something like
Yeah, I
that?
want to say she was like just about
I
7 feet tall.
think you broke 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, you were around there.
Yeah, I didn't
Just
remember.
just gigantic.
I have it written down somewhere.
I remember I wanted Ella to be about as tall as she was wide. Like I wanted her to be like a little brick house.
So is Ella like Ella like animated Ninja Turtle or Michael Bay Ninja Turtle in
like
some?
animated ninja.
Oh,
Animated.
thank
So she's-
goodness, not
So she and
terrifying.
Chirp. So she's not much taller than Chirp. She's just wide.
I think she might be a little bit tall. I think she's probably like more like 5'5", but she's just like, and she wears scale mail, so she's just
Sure.
she's a big girl and she's
Trouble
so
with
heavy.
doorways.
She got width.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. No, I'm not gonna say it because being.
She got width.
She got width. We'll just go
Got
with
width.
she got width.
She got width, and this is why I'm not very quiet, y'all.
Yeah, it's hard to sneak with that kind of width.
Real hard to sneak.
Yeah.
How about Murray?
Well, here's the thing. Murray, I think in his prime was like a good 6 feet ish.
Yeah, all finger
um,
guns and all of it.
Yeah, but he has since shrunk.
Of course.
So I think he still says he's 6 feet something, but he's
really?
probably a little bit more. He's like a C, you know. He's a little bit like a C.
Yeah.
He's like this.
He's still.
So he might be around the same height as Dazzle at this point.
Right.
Is that his actual height or is that his hunching height? Because like
That's his hunching height,
Okay.
I would say.
So he's maybe lost an actual inch, but like with the hunch,
Yeah,
a good
I
3.
think-
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably shrunk to 6 feet tall and is now just like, but hunches to 5'8", 5'7" ish.
Precious.
Somebody really quickly, I'm sorry, just said one of the things about the sword that they liked is that it's acknowledging that Murray is Asmeridian. Here's what Chirp's acknowledging.
Oh yeah, hold on,
Okay.
everybody, take it easy.
Chirp is acknowledging that it is important to his friend that his friend is Asmeridian the hero. Chirp is somebody who has taken on a lot of names and has been a lot of different people. And if his friend wants to be Asmeridian the hero, and his friend is the biggest hero he knows, then fine. That's what it is. Does Chirp believe that Asmeridian existed? Is anything more than lunchboxes and fucking trading cards? I don't know. That I don't know.
Tune into season 2 to find out.
Well, hey, ain't that the big question, ain't it?
I guess we'll all find out. We have a couple of announcements before
Yeah, we
we
do.
log off today. While still talking about failed save, we'll start with the failed save announcement.
That's
Vance?
canceled.
Yes, we'd like to announce that we actually have a new cast member, joining us for season 2 of Failed Save, we are welcoming the incredible talents of Abria Iyengar into the show as full-time cast.
Yeah.
We absolutely fell in love with her during her guest appearance, and also having worked with her before. I think many of us have.
We were
in the
all
past.
already in love with Abria.
She is such an exceptional talent and brings so much, mostly the smoking miming.
Yeah, of course.
We can't do that on the internet. We can't do
It's
that.
too late now.
The
Or
worst
we all
thing-
do it at the same time, and it cancels out
worse.
any creepy.
The worst
I
things
love
would be
how
on the
excited
internet.
Chat is. Rababa said, she's doing too many things. How did you get Abria? I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know.
Don't
I
know.
don't know. We got very lucky. That's how we got
What's your
Abria.
chat? What's your second favorite thing that Abria does? She's leaving that.
Honestly,
Leaving that to do this.
Sage texted me and basically said, oh, I'm thinking of like, what would you think about bringing on Abria? Like, if we approach her and she says yes, would you be down for that? I'm like, yeah, totally. But like, she's not gonna. Like,
Literally, that was
she's on like
Too
8
busy.
shows, so whatever. Like, give it a shot. And then she said yes. So
Yeah.
great.
So that will start on December 4th, which is when we pick back up for season 2 of Failed Save. And also, it's the day after my birthday, so everyone is obligated to be
Aw.
nice to me.
Dazzle
Don't forget it.
immediately.
Episode 1 is the one where everyone is nice.
Everyone is nice to
Yeah,
Dazzle.
that's not going to be a pleasant
specifically.
episode.
Just so you know. That's the one where everyone's
always
nice to Dazzle.
Always nice to death.
And then let's talk about what Gina's doing for the next 3
Yes.
weeks. Gina, tell us all about it. What you want to tell us.
What do you,
Rap air horn.
what do you want to, what am I
It's
allowed
in
to
case
say?
anybody
What do you have
didn't-
to talk about?
It's literally up to you entirely. So, in case somebody didn't catch us announcing it at the end of the last episode, what's going on for the next 3 weeks?
So for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be running a puppet RPG for everyone. Can we announce the name?
Yes.
Okay, so we finally settled on a name. This show is called TPK, Total Puppet Chaos. And we are going to be doing, I guess it's next week.
Give it
I'll
to
throw
'em.
a little bit more out
Yeah.
there. So we are doing a reskin of Lasers and Feelings, the incredible system Lasers and Feelings, and everyone is going to be playing a god.
Mhm.
I'm very
So,
excited.
and I don't want to say anything else.
That's okay. That's perfectly
that-
enough. It
there
goes
you
on
go.
For 3 weeks.
And yes, and I will be your puppet master.
Isn't
I
that
can't
so
wait.
lovely?
Well, first of all, if I may, so because you did so
You may
much
not.
actual manual work to
Yes.
create various assets for
I've
the
been
show,
working for a month.
but the thing is, as much as our characters will be a surprise for the audience, none of us have seen the actual things you've done to build this out. So this is also
We
going to be a
gave
surprise
like
for us.
vague descriptions and some
Yeah.
words
Yeah.
and feelings.
Yeah. She was like, what do you want to
Yeah.
look like? And we were like, I guess this. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, I think my exact words were everyone. Okay, build a god, build your character. All I need to know is what they look like. Just tell me what they look like a month ago. I don't care what your characters are yet. Just tell me what they look like so I
Right.
can start building. And then and I think you're all going to be very surprised
I
at what
can't
they
wait.
look like.
I think it's gonna be
I've
amazing.
only been texting one person about all of this, and so only one person knows what they really look like.
I haven't seen them.
You know, I have not. It's been really difficult to not show you since you're in the thread of like planning this show.
Yeah. Whoops.
But
I haven't seen a damn thing,
But
so-
you haven't seen anything, and everyone will be seeing what they look like live with all of you at the same time. So
In a week.
In a week.
1 week.
So join
I
us for
can't
that
wait.
next week. It's going to be at our normal time slot for Failed Save, 6 o'clock Pacific. And Gina's going to guide us into some total puppet chaos.
I'm very
excited.
Very exciting. I love it so much. Why don't we all just take a moment and have some claps and celebration for Vince for getting us through this season and letting us absolutely ruin his
Destroy
story.
Yeah.
We love and appreciate
Very
you very
sweet.
much. Why don't you start us off today, or where everyone can find you on the internet?
Oh, well, wasn't there one more
Don't
thing
you have
to
one more thing?
talk about?
Announce.
Announce? Something happening on November 15th.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
sure. I was just going to do that when I was talking about where to find us on the internet.
Okay.
November 18th, we have It's Too Early coming back here on the channel. What?
What is that?
Oh, what is that? That's an excellent question. That is our internet morning show. We talk about all things pop culture, gaming, etc., covering, what we consider to be news and what we consider to be news only. It is a show that got aggressively haunted by an entity and was shut down for the last few months. And we will be returning on the morning of November 18th. That's a Wednesday. We're going to be back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here on this channel at 8 a.m.
That's great.
Pacific.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's co-hosted by Anthony Carboni, everybody, also known as Joseph Joey Jowison.
Okay. Yes, then I can't wait to co-host it.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it after.
Absolutely. Okay, well now we can get out of here, right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, that was
Hi.
smooth.
My name is Vince Casso. I have been Vince Casso.
Wow.
You can find me online, the tweets, Instas, and on Twitch at Vince Casso across all platforms. It's been a pleasure being with you this evening and for season 1 of this marvelous show. Thank you for your support, and I can't wait to see you very soon in season 2 and for the Puppet RPG.
Yay!
Yeah, you're gonna be a player.
Yeah.
Vince gets to hang out and play for a bit. Gets to have his own PC for a while. That's gonna be
It's relaxing to not have to write sessions for a few weeks. It's nice.
Fair.
It takes so long.
It does.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Sage Ryan. Tonight I have been Joey Joey. So sorry. There's no context to the joke. I would provide it to y'all if we had it. There's no reason for it.
But it wouldn't make a lot of sense anyway.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense to us.
I go
It's from the home game.
It only makes sense.
From the home
No,
game.
it's not. I go by Not Sage everywhere on the internet. I stream on my channel on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, and you can find me here every Friday and Saturday for whatever tabletop RPG we're doing at the time. Saturdays for Multi-Pixels, which is our kind of women-focused multiplayer gaming show. And then starting mid-November on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings for our morning show. And that sounds like a lot, if I'm honest. Hey, great. See you then. Kaylee.
Oh gosh, it's me. Hi, I have been Kaylee and sometimes Joey. You can find me at Hoffa Barbarian on Twitter. That's usually where I tell people what I'm doing. On the internets, on the Twitch side, you can find me Wednesdays doing fireside chats for the Walking Dead universe, where I pretend I manage a community there. They don't really need my management. They're doing great on their own. You can also find me producing Hyper's show Travels with Hyper. That's happening right now, so go check them out. I'm very proud of the work we're doing there. And then hopefully soon we will have Damsels, Dice, and Everything Nice returning, so stay tuned and join the Discord for more information there as we get some more princess content up and running soon.
Let's go down to Gina.
Hello, I've been Joey, and a lot of the other times, Gina DeVivo. You can find me online at Pocket Gina at most places. Tomorrow, we're going to have Predation again, right? It's Friday. Yes. Tomorrow, noon, over at the Q Chimes channel, we play Predation. We played Dinos and people. It's utter chaos, and that's where you can find the lovely B-Dave being lovely, Sam DeLev, Ravity Domse, and Eric Campbell running the campaign. It's really fun, and there's lots of secrets, and it's a mini campaign, so it's going to be just a quick chapter of these lives, so really easy to catch up or watch it at your leisure. That's Secrets of Silver Creek, and I'll let Xander tell you the other game that we're a part of.
Anthony's
Yeah.
go, but Xander, do it. No, you're doing it.
Oh,
Anthony will go last.
Okay, I'm Xander, but I've been Xander Joey tonight, which is a difference. It's stepping into a different role. But you can find me on Twitter at Xanderific with 2 R's and 1 F. I stream on Twitch Mondays and Tuesdays. I started Tuesdays. I normally do some sort of adventure game, and this past week I did one called There Is No Game, which was a commentary on the adventure game genre.
Love
So
that one.
It's been a lot of fun. And then I've got a lot of Star Trek, which I think is what Gina was mentioning. We have a show on Monday nights over at Q Times called Clear Skies, which is our Star Trek RPG show. And I also have a podcast called To Boldly Watch, where I go through and watch The Next Generation with Becca Scott and Jake Michaels, and we talk about it. It's great.
I had no idea about that. That rules.
Yeah. It's been so calming to look to the future and talk about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, nerds?
Oh God,
Oh
Christ!
no.
I'm Jotaro
Man.
Joestar.
Oh
No.
You can find me everywhere on the internet at @acarboni, except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, give it back to me. It's mine. Every Friday, I do a podcast called We Have Concerns with Jeff Kanata. It is an award-winning science comedy podcast. We have no idea how that happened, but it's true. And then I guess on November 18th, I host It's Too Early. It's very early in the morning, and it's right here.
Right here. The end.
Right here.
We also have a Patreon. We have a bunch of really exciting stuff coming to Patreon very soon. There are a bunch of fun things that go along with It's Too Early on the Patreon. We do a bonus story once a week from the shows that doesn't make it onto the live show, and we sit down and we talk about it usually for like 15 minutes. It makes it exclusively onto Patreon. Things like we talked about earlier where you can control a character in a certain way and add a fun little moment that confuses all of the other players pop up on our Patreon. And also a lot of our just kind of like behind the scenes chats about what's going on and what's coming up will be on our Patreon, and it helps us to continue doing this as a bunch of independent creators that just enjoy making things for you. So everyone over there, we appreciate it so very much. We also have a YouTube channel, so if you aren't caught up on this season, there are edit downs that are just like very lightly edited of getting out the bullshit on our YouTube channel.
Uh-oh.
And
Is it a
all of
1
it.
minute episode?
yeah. Oh no, not that bullshit. I mean like tech issues usually. So there are
Name one tech issue
never
we've ever
once,
had.
Zero.
not even once. So all of those are up on our YouTube channel, as well as like fun little edits down, like favorite moments of an episode and stuff of the sort. So check us out on YouTube. We have all of those over there. We appreciate it very much. We're gonna raid over to our friend Zyphira. What should our raid call be tonight, everybody?
Shenanigans?
Joey.
Joey.
Like Joey's
Just
here.
Joey's here.
Joey's here.
Joey's
Okay.
here.
You're all gonna be Joey.
I can't wait to tell Joey what's
We are
happening all
Joey.
night.
He deserves it.
Okay.
He deserves it.
So,
In the good way.
I have copy pasted that into there. Zyphira is amazing, so go and show her some love right now. And have a great rest of your night. It's rough out there. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water. I love you. Say it back. All right.
Joey's here.
Joey's here, everybody. Go spam it. Go do it. You got it. We'll see y'all soon.